Our guest is Tiana Cole, and Tiana Cole owns Blank Slate Staging, and she is talking to us all things prepping your home to get it ready to sell and all the behind the scenes tips and tricks that will ultimately set you up for success. This is a fantastic episode. You're gonna wanna listen. Welcome to episode 98 of The Real Deal, where real estate meets real life. Our guest today, I'm going to actually read a little bio. Tiana Cole is the founder of Blank Slate Staging, serving the East Valley and the greater Phoenix metro area. She works with real estate agents and their sellers through occupied staging consultations and soft staging, helping lived-in homes feel more inviting and positioned to maximize their home's market potential. Tiana discovered her love for staging in 2017 after styling her own home and helping friends do the same with great results, which led her to launch Blank Slate Staging in 2019 in Northern California. After relocating to Arizona in 2025, she relaunched the business to bring her people-first approach to the Phoenix metro area, supporting sellers through what can be a stressful transition by meeting them where they are and making the process feel manageable, which I think you do. Beyond her work in staging, Tiana is a wife and mother of two, and those roles shape the supportive, grounded way she serves her clients. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me. I'm honored.
Yeah, it was fun. The way that we came to meet you and start working with you was honestly like at a perfect time in our business, because a big part of what we do, as you know, is setting our clients up for success when it comes to selling. And a big part of that is prepping the home. How the home shows really makes a huge difference. In fact, I had a client tell me, another realtor who showed one of my listings yesterday. He said, Janine, I showed like several homes today and yours was by far the best. And he's like, thank you. And I'm like, well, thank my sellers, but really thank you. Thank all of the pieces that go into play. It makes a difference.
Yeah. Oh, it makes a huge difference. I don't know that people outside of real estate really recognize the difference that staging makes, but when you're in it day in and day out and you're a realtor and you're showing homes, or in my case, when you're looking at all of these listings on Zillow and you can see the difference of when somebody preps their home and when they don't. And I mean, just being from a buyer's point of view, you're flipping through photos. You get to see all these photos. It takes one poorly staged photo or one poorly prepped to just nope, that one's we're not going to see it.
Yeah, we say that we have to sell the home twice. We have to sell it once online where they see it online, because that's where everyone starts their search nowadays. And they see it and they want to come see it in person. And so it's matching both of those. And then I think making sure, the home looks great for photos, but looks great when the buyers walk through it too, right? And also, selling your home and how you position the home is different than living in it, unfortunately.
Absolutely.
Right? And so maybe you have a toaster out on everyday life, but when it comes to selling and you have a showing, that toaster probably shouldn't be out on the counter.
Absolutely. No, I always say decorating is for you, staging is for the buyer, and I believe that. And also when
That's a great little slogan. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, and it's true. When I go into a home and you have to communicate to them that we're not taking this down because your style is wrong. It's just because we're trying to appeal to the masses. And there is a very simple way to do that. And it's proven. And you follow the way and you just go.
So what would you say are some of those like things that I would say you say pretty much to every home seller? What would you say?
So I try to avoid the word declutter, but what I say is we're just gonna start packing. We're gonna pack up anything that you don't need for the next 3 to 6 months. Just let's just pack it away and store it. Of course, we want that. We want to make sure that we are deep cleaning. That's very clear. Depersonalizing your family for safety reasons and a multitude of other reasons. Let's get them off the walls and off of our surfaces. And deferred maintenance, it's such a huge thing. Because, like you mentioned, you show in photos and then you show in person. And if there is a disconnect or if the home doesn't show in person like it showed in
Accurately,
photos.
yeah.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it's almost an immediate no when you walk in. This wasn't what I was expecting. It's dirty in person. It looks so clean in the photos. You know, if just the small details, you want it to feel clean, you want it to feel organized, you want it to feel spacious, and you can do that in photos fairly easily, but it has to match in person.
So what are some of the big things that you see from a deferred maintenance standpoint?
Well, you know, it's the small things that I've heard, and like the things like changing out your filters and things that I don't know that everybody notices, but I notice because I'm walking into homes all the time. So it's that sort of things, smells, which often comes from just not consistent cleaning or like the need to vacuum all the time. Paint. When you are getting your house ready, unfortunately, most of the time, patch paint is not good enough. It needs to be, in most situations, a full paint. That sort of thing. You know, dirt on, just in corners of surfaces, dust. These small things, I mean, I could point out a million things. You know, power washing your concrete, that's pretty important. Or even just, this is silly and it's not a deferred maintenance thing, but in people's mind, people think it's a deferred maintenance thing. If your front door when you're walking in is not clean,
Yes.
and I'm always like, the outside, your entrance must be spick and span, has to be, and then add something green to it because.
So let's talk about that. And if we can kind of walk our listeners through the home. So that first impression, what are a couple tips that you tell everybody? You just said, make sure the front door is clean, something
Yes.
green.
Yes. So outside of the home, the front door is the most important. Now you can go around the house and the back patio and that all should be clean, but the front door is a big deal. I always say it should have some color, and if you can have a welcome mat, that is the greatest thing. Color can be added with a tree or a plant, of course, a wreath on the door. Try to keep it neutral, you know, greens, not like all these big colors, but the welcome mat and some sort of greenery is huge. And as you walk into the entryway, you also have to be aware of just small details that a lot of people don't think out. What's the first thing you see when you walk into a house? Whatever's the first thing that draws people attention, we're going to focus on that. We're going to create something there. We're going to stage something there. Maybe a piece of art, maybe a plant. It depends on what it is. But
So yeah, you're talking about the mat. I would say make sure it's clean or new, right?
yes,
Both.
Oh, a
absolutely.
front door mat.
Yeah.
Can't be the one that you've had since
Yes.
2000 when you moved in.
Yeah.
I think that brings up a point. You know, a lot of times we get used to seeing our environment and we don't notice things as much.
You're blind.
And so what sellers really need to do is look at it from a brand new buyer's perspective the first time they walked in the house.
Yep.
That's
And
what's nice about
yeah.
having you come through is you get to be that person.
Well, and to be honest, when I sold my home in California early last year, I had my sister, my mom, and my best friend all walk through the house because I'm a stager, and
I
they
love
still
it.
caught things
I
that
love it.
because you're blind.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're blind to what it looks like. You're
Yeah.
blind to how it smells. You're blind
Yes.
to, I mean, all of it, you know?
So let's talk about smells. So
Well, before we go on
Okay,
there,
go
because I don't want
It's
to
hard.
move on,
Okay.
what about kitchen? I want to kind of keep going through the house and kind of talk about some tips. So what about in the kitchen? What are some tips?
So I always start the kitchen by saying to everybody, imagine that this space is completely bare. Okay, we're gonna clear everything off the counters, and then we're gonna talk about what we can add back. We can add back one appliance that you use every single day. For most people, that's gonna be a coffee maker, and that shows cleanly. If you wanna add like 2 neutral coffee cups, you can do that. But the coffee maker or one small appliance. That's all, and this is depending on the kitchen. This is assuming that you have a little bit of counter space. And also because I don't want them to go crazy while their house is on the market, keep your coffee maker
Right.
on the counter. But it's blank, we add one appliance back, and then we're gonna add something warm like a cutting board or a crock with some wooden spoons. We can do that, and we're gonna add a plant. And in most situations, that's enough. If they already have some staging-esque neutral decor on the counter, a lot of times I'll say, okay, we can use a little bit of this or a little bit of that, but I'm a firm believer that less is more in terms of staging. But if they have an island, a bowl of fruit, I'll always recommend a bowl of fruit. And it can't be small. It's got to be a large, substantial bowl, and it's got to be either oranges, lemons, or Granny Smith apples, and I won't veer from those because people will use them, they can eat them, they won't go bad, but we don't want I'm a fan of having real fruit, so use something that you like. But those three are generally pretty popular.
Cool.
Yeah, and nothing on top of the cabinets.
Oh, nothing.
Yeah.
No.
So
No, I
lots
don't
of-
understand them when people
Yeah.
do that.
So lots of plants and decor up above, and
Absolutely
none of
never.
that.
No, sir.
yeah.
No, sir.
What about like a master bedroom? What are some tips there?
So master bedrooms are obviously very situationally dependent, but again, I start with imagine that this is clear. We're going to pick a neutral bedding. If you haven't already, I always recommend a textured, but either beige or white, or sometimes gray. It's not the most popular anymore, but beige or white textured comforter. Something that kind of has, so that the eye is drawn to the bed and you can see how big it is, but it doesn't take too much away from it. Nightstands should be clear except for 2 matching lamps if you have them, a plant on one side and maybe like a book set on the other side. And that's it. And then a dresser, almost never I'll recommend something on it except for a tray and a plant, and I'll call it good. And your surfaces outside of that should be clear. If there happens to be a bench at the bottom of the bed, that's lovely. We're gonna put a blanket on it. We're gonna call it good.
And as far as like bathrooms, like white linens, is that what you would recommend?
In most situations, I will say white or nothing at all. If I can tell that the client is kind of anti wanting to buy things or invest money, which some of them are, and some of them are like, I'll just get some white linens. But if not, I will say I would rather you have white linens or nothing at all. There's one exception where I had a client where her decor in her bathroom was, the finishes in her bathroom were all white, and her decor was beautifully sage green. It was gorgeous, and she had these new, they were these forest green towels, and I said, you put those towels up and you don't think twice about it, because it just worked perfectly for the situation.
Yeah, but in general, yeah.
Oh yeah, white
just
towels.
clean. Yeah.
Why is that? Just because it's like spa-like?
Yeah, so yeah, white is like a spa, but not only that, it reflects light better, it photographs better,
Yeah.
they look
Looks
clean.
Yeah.
If they're new,
Yes.
Clean.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
but I do recommend clean, new white towels.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, and I'll say
Smells.
this real quick, and that's relatively inexpensive.
Sure.
I mean, you can go to Ross or Marshalls or somewhere, and Amazon, just get something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
All right. Ryan wanted
Smells.
to talk about smells.
So when I first started, her dad taught me that the 2 hardest smells to overcome in selling a home are pets and smoke. And I agree. And in our experience, the houses that sell faster, where they've had a pet in the house, it's almost as if the pet's not there, because they've done such a good job of taking care of the odor, or what would have been odor, and then they take this stuff out of the house during showings.
Yeah.
So there's no dog mat, there's no dog cage, bowls, they're out in the garage.
Yes. Smells are hard.
Yeah.
Because not only do you have to communicate to them that there is a smell that they could be nose blind to, but also the fixes for them, it's not going to be free. We're going to need to pay some money to do some work. For pets, I think it's a little bit easier. We're going to get like so much baking soda or baking powder, baking soda. And we're gonna have our carpets professionally cleaned. We're gonna use baking soda on our couches, and we're gonna vacuum those up. If there's blind or curtains, we've got to do the same thing. We're gonna like spray some like baking soda spray on them, and we're gonna try to like vacuum and steam the scent out. We're never gonna get all of it, but we're gonna do the best we can. And then I always say before showings, the morning of a showing, say the showing's like late afternoon or no, late morning, early afternoon. In the morning, first thing in the morning, you're gonna open up all the windows, you're gonna turn the fans on, and you're gonna remove all the animal gear out of the house. I call it animal gear. And we're gonna turn on fans. We're gonna just get some fresh air in there. For smoke, the house has to be painted.
Yeah.
And
Probably some other things
the
too.
curtains
Don't
should be
smoke in
taped
there anymore.
Yes, and the garage too. Just because you can't smoke in the house doesn't mean you can go smoke in the garage. You can't do that anymore.
I sold a house one time. The first time I walked in, it was almost like a cloud of smoke hit me in the face because it was so thick.
Yeah.
And it was in the summertime, so they hadn't opened up the windows in a while.
The summer.
And that's tough. So, I mean, we ended up having to have that bombed, fumigated.
Yeah.
And the carpet replaced. It had to be painted.
I do think that most times a buyer, if they're going to walk into a home and it has been a smoking home, 2 things are going to happen. One, either it's an absolute no-go, we're leaving, I'm not buying this home, or they know they're going to have to replace everything,
much,
paint the house, all of that. They know that. So for me, a smoking home is either
Yeah.
They
yeah.
understand things are going to have to, they're going to have to pay money to fix it.
But it will be reflected in the price.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the same token, you can over deodorize a house, meaning people add in scents and think, oh, I need to have all these plugins and I need to burn all these candles, and
Right.
that can be equally overwhelming
Yeah, 'cause
and
Agreed.
turning and can turn somebody off too.
It can
Right.
look like you're masking a scent, right?
Absolutely. Well, and you are.
Yeah.
You are.
So what scent do you recommend if they were to add some?
Well, personally, I would go with like a sea salt beach scent, but that's just me personally. I would say some people veer away from that. I mean, if you're gonna go for anything, you should probably do the hotel scent, which I think is like a eucalyptus mint lemon type. I think that's where they kind of veer, and people like that. That's
Yeah.
pretty across the board liked.
Okay.
It's just, you have to be so careful. Even somebody that burns candles, it's like, oh, it can just, everybody has their own preferences. And so you have to be really, really careful.
I think if you're gonna burn candles or do any sort of scent ad in the morning, you have to do it, or scent ad at all for like a showing, you have to do it early in the morning. You have to
Yeah.
let the scent fill the house, and then you do the
Agreed.
same thing where you open the windows, turn
Let
on
it
the
be
fans, and get it
settled.
out.
Yeah, yeah, I totally would agree with that.
So.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It is hard, you know, because everybody comes in and a buyer will create a story about this home. And they'll create a story that says, oh, this home has been really well cared for, you know, because the baseboards are clean, things are neat and orderly, right? And then that subconsciously tells them, okay, I can feel good about this purchase. On the other hand, you can have a story being told that says, hey, this house has been beat up, or it's lived in, right? And
Yeah.
or they've had a lot of kids that have kind of, you know, the home has taken its toll, right, by the kids. And that's not a story that you want either. So you want a buyer to walk in, have the home feel like I could move right in.
Yes.
A lot of times we get clients that say, well, what if I change out the carpet and the buyer doesn't like it? The point is not to appeal to specific buyers. It's to make it so it's neutral. So the buyer feels like, oh, if I want to change this down the road, I can, but I don't have to.
Yes. You can live in it immediately and then save up
Yeah.
a year or two down the
Yeah.
road, switch it out to
Yeah.
the things you want.
Yeah, so I find a lot of agents will tell clients that, you know, just give a carpet allowance. And we are adamantly opposed to that because all they're doing is they're thinking, okay, I've got to mess with this now. It's going
Agreed.
to cost money. I don't want to deal with it. And here's my experience. Buyers will overinflate the actual cost
Oh,
by
yeah.
3 times what it should be. So if let's say it's a $5,000 carpet allowance or cost, in their mind it's 15 grand.
I literally just had this with a client where we were kind of, you know, estimating, okay, this. We're like, okay, about 10,000. He's like, well, I want 30. And I was like, wow.
What?
Right?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, because I have to deal with it. And what if there's a surprise that comes along where it's not really 5,000, it's actually, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so there's that cost that
You're
they
giving
need to take
them a
into
reason to say
consideration.
no. And we want to take away any reason for them to say no.
Yes.
Our sponsor today is Yvette Meyer with Old Republic Home Protection. For all your home warranty needs, reach out to Yvette Meyer. Thank you for watching the episode. You know, our podcast is called The Real Deal, where real estate meets real life. And I love sharing these real life stories, but we are also in the real estate business. And so if you have any real estate needs, maybe you're thinking about buying or selling or wanting to invest in real estate, we would love to help you. And they have to imagine themselves living in the home, right? And so I always tell this story. I went to a house and it was so cute, and the lady had like all this like very Pinteresty decor everywhere that I was like walking through a house like, look at that wreath she made. It's so cute. And like noticing all of these things, and I was not paying attention to the house whatsoever. So sometimes people think like, oh my gosh, this is so boring. And it's like, well, you kind of want it to be that way.
Yeah.
So that they aren't distracted by all your things. They're
Sure.
really looking at the potential of what they would do in this space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
People
if-
forget that.
Yeah, and at the same time though, you're helping them visualize what their stuff could look like.
Right.
Because I think, especially when the house has a weird layout, it's hard for them to imagine how the furniture would go, right?
Yes.
And so I think the stat that we have always talked about is less than 10% of the population can actually visualize the home if it's unstaged.
I heard that recently, and I would probably tend to agree.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
And then empty homes appear smaller than they are, whereas a home with furniture actually feels
Oddly
bigger.
enough, yeah.
And so people think of that too. Well, don't we want them to be able to see what they could do? But it's like, that's where you're going to that other extreme, right? Of they can't imagine what their furniture, or they're going to be like, oh, my couch wouldn't fit in here.
Right.
You know, and we have done it where I've been with clients and I've taken them through the model home and then taken them to a spec home that's completely empty, and they're like, it feels so much smaller.
It's a completely
Because it
different
was staged
experience
versus not, right?
That's a perfect example. The perfect example, because you walk into an empty house and you think, well, would I put my TV on that wall or that wall? And if it's staged, you don't
It's
even
not
have
even
to.
in your mind.
Yeah.
And I find too that when a home is vacant, they nitpick everything much more.
Oh, for
things,
sure.
Things stand out more.
For sure.
Like
'cause
the
they
color
see
of the
it.
tile and how it relates to the walls. And
That's exactly right. That's why a final walkthrough, if it's not staged the way that it was when they saw the house, is so nerve-wracking. So nerve-wracking, because you're thinking, are they going to see something that they didn't see before?
Even imperfections. I remember the first house that we ever staged, so this was a long time ago, and the buyers came through, like the first showing, got an offer, they called me, they're like, this is beautiful, we love it, you know, and I was like so excited, like, yes, I staged it, it looks great. And I remember they came for the final walkthrough and they were like noticing all of these imperfections, and we were like, it was
like
always there.
Yeah.
You just didn't see
You
it,
had no idea.
right? And we're not trying to fool anybody, but again, when you buy a home, it's such an emotional decision.
Yeah.
And so you're creating an environment for the buyer to fall in love with it. It's so important.
Yep.
I think it's one of the easiest things to do. And it's also one of the things that has the biggest impact.
Yeah.
Yeah. Outside of cleaning the home, outside of making sure that their repairs are addressed. You know, nobody wants to have to buy a home and then fix a bunch of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So making sure all of that truly, when you do all of that, that's when the buyer is like, okay, I want to buy this, and what do I have to do to get it? You know, do I have to pay over full price? That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
One of the things that's been interesting to me in right now, my coach house sellers, we went coming soon, and I've already had 3 showings, and 2 of the 3 agents are calling me saying they're going to send an offer, and we're not even officially on the market yet.
That's amazing.
And so they both know if they're going to buy this house, it's going to have to be a very good offer. And I've told both of them, you're going to have to make them not go to market with it. So that's the benefit of doing coming soon marketing. And also doing all the work to prep it.
Yeah.
And I know for them, those sellers, it took them a while. They were a little overwhelmed by it, but I always tell my clients, like, I know this is a lot, but I promise you it will pay off. Same with my Orioles sellers. I was telling these guys yesterday, he's like, oh, I'm so stressed out because it's a lot of work to get your home ready, you know? And I always tell my clients, like, I promise you it will pay off. Like, this part is the hard part for you, but it will make a difference in the end.
Yes.
And my client, he's like, I trust you, Janine. That's why I hired you, you know? But it's that I can't do that for them. They have to actually do the work. And
Absolutely.
that's what I love about you coming in. And so what our process is as soon as we take a listing, we tell our clients, the very next thing we're going to do is have our stager reach out to you. And she's going to set an appointment with you and spend a few hours and go room by room and tell you what to do to get it ready. And we always tell them what's great about that is it takes the guesswork out of it, because so often they're wondering, and they will ask us, should I do this? Should I do that? And the other thing I would say is it honestly helps us not have to be the bad guy.
Yeah.
Not that you're the bad guy,
No,
but
I get it.
we get to stay neutral. You get to be the one to come in and spend that time with them. And I think it just makes it easier because they're not wondering. And to your point, you see it differently than they do.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought it was interesting you said that you try to avoid the word declutter. And I see why. I mean, we do it. We say, do you personalize declutter? That's the place you start, right? But you have to have like a doctor with good bedside manner.
Yeah.
Because you're basically calling their baby ugly, right?
Well,
In a sense.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, thank goodness, I worked at Dutch Bros for a very long time it was my first job.
So you learn customer service.
Oh my goodness. And immediately you learn how to speak to people, whether they want to talk to you, whether they don't. And obviously Dutch Bros gets a bad rap because they're like, gosh, leave me alone.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, no, and I get it. And some kids haven't learned that yet, but over the years you do learn that skill. And so to bring that into staging, I walk into somebody's home and I can generally feel how they feel about what's about to happen.
Yeah.
And so the way that I communicate to them is highly dependent on how they've welcomed me into their home. And some people I can quickly get a good rapport with, and I'm honest and all of that. And then some people I sugarcoat it a little bit, and it just kind of depends on the scenario.
Yeah.
You have to compliment.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, and the thing is, I never provide a compliment that I don't genuinely mean. So I am constantly looking through the house and only saying things about things that I love and what I like, and this is awesome, and this is great, and this is what we're gonna maybe work on a little bit. It's wordy. It's wordy in there. I'm very choosy with my words.
Yeah. So switching gears just ever so slightly, what would you say are some design trends or some popular trends that you're seeing right now?
Things are shifting back to dark. You know, it's crazy in the early 2000s when everybody was loving cherry wood and Tuscan. My mom, bless you, Mom. And then things went white, and everything was white, and everything was gray. And here we are coming back around. We're seeing dark woods. We're seeing vintage. I don't know if you've heard of cottage core, but the thrift stores are packed with people looking for little tchotchkes to decorate their cottage core home with.
Really? Wow.
Yes. Dark wood's back, which I love because I have cherry wood in my house, but that's personal.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that is great. Also, I'm seeing a lot of still, but more of a focus on organic, modern, stone textures, leathers, mismatched woods, all of that. Just, warm and cozy, organic, Mediterranean.
Are you seeing antique furniture?
Oh,
that
yeah.
kind of stuff? Okay.
Oh, there's... Yeah. What a time to be alive, getting antique furniture. It's so fun. It's because you're not looking, you don't have to go to Crate and Barrel and Wayfair and all of that, who's a little bit behind the ball, and they're just selling their their normal trendy stuff. No, I mean, you can go on Facebook Marketplace and get a fantastic vintage table for a quarter of the cost, and your home is perfect. Yeah.
What about wall colors? Like, what is like your go-to?
Still white.
Is it?
Still white. I think that people love to do the moody gem tones and the dark forest greens and the blues. But I think that's a very specific, specifically for staging, it's still white. It's still like depending on the lighting, creamy, beige, that sort of thing. There's a time and place for a moody wall, but that is for decorating, not for staging.
And that's a great point because it's very specific to that person.
Yes.
And we're trying to appeal to everyone, right? Or the masses, right? So that's tough.
Okay, Tiana, on a personal note, what made you decide to go this career path in life?
To be very honest, I'm not entrepreneurial minded. That's my main motivator is like stability. So being a business owner is not something that I ever envisioned for myself, but I had, back in Northern California, I had some coworkers that were like, hey, we're selling our house. Your house sold very quickly based on your decorating skills. Back then, I didn't really know what staging was. Can you help us prep our homes? Both of their homes sold immediately. And they were like, you need to do this. Like, you need to make money doing this. And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So one of my coworkers dragged me to City Hall and sat with me while I got my license. I will never forget it. Thank you, Sherry. And
she saw something in you.
She did. And you know what? Back then I was so worried about failing and, I can't let anybody down. And this is so scary. And, but I did it. And and the confidence that gives you to just keep going, and you talk to realtors and you meet people and you just kind of.
So were you worried that you would do the work and then it wouldn't sell fast and then they would blame you?
Terrified. Yeah. Oh, I was terrified. But back then, I was still learning the stats. Does staging really work? I was questioning myself back then. I was like,
It worked 3 times. Is it going to work every time?
Yes.
Yeah.
I could see a difference, but I'm like, do other people really care about this stuff? And I was in a rural town, Redding, California, and I might have been the only stager there. I'm not sure. But people didn't really. They were like, like maybe we'll try the stager, maybe,
Yeah.
It was kind of like such a risky thing for me to do. But it worked out okay. Yeah. And then COVID hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was that.
Do you see AI coming into play or interfering with your business at all?
I'm not scared about it personally. I'm sure that people are using AI for everything, this included. But on the same token, I can give all of these tips and tricks. I can give all the information. I'm not a gatekeeper. I'll give it on my social media, all of that. It's people putting it into practice that really makes a difference. So use AI, that's wonderful. And that's such a great free gift for you to use. Save some money. If you can, absolutely. But there is no replacement for me walking into somebody's home and giving them personalized information. And then after that, in my service, as you know, not only do I give them a super large document that gives them a play-by-play, but they also get to text me and call me and
Ask questions.
send photos. And that is invaluable. So
Yes.
I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's a personalized aspect of that.
Yeah.
Same with us. Same with our business.
Yeah.
One of the things I think that's been great, we we refer you out, but we get feedback, and our clients have always said really great things
Thank you.
about you coming in and how helpful you were. So we appreciate that because you are an extension of our business, and
Secret weapon.
you help
Thank you.
us to be more successful, and you help make the process easier for our clients. So we appreciate that.
Thank you. No, I feel like you guys were put into my life at just the most divine time.
That's
and
awesome.
I feel
I'm
like
trying to remember
it's
how it
great.
started. Was it on Instagram?
I cold messaged you
Yeah,
on
that's right,
Instagram
that's
and I
right.
was like, hey, I just moved here. I'm like relaunching my business.
So that's a lesson for our listeners. You created this, right? You started it by reaching out, and it just so happened to be perfect timing for us.
Yeah,
yeah.
it did.
That's not me, that's God.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I love that.
That's cool.
Well, what didn't we ask you that we should have asked you?
I know that you asked this to everybody, and I think that the question should be, do you have any questions for us?
Ooh,
Oh.
okay.
And I've been thinking about this. This is so silly, but this is just kind of something that I'm interested in. I want to know what both of your first jobs were and how it played into making you successful in real estate.
Like it as a teenager or
Yeah.
professional job?
Yeah, no, because I'm always trying to link. I
love
ask this
it.
to people. I'm trying to link. Is there some like a
100%
starting
first.
job that
Yeah.
Okay.
you know?
Okay, I'll let you go first, Ryan.
So mine's kind of twofold. So probably my first job was working as a boat boy at a marina in high school. And it was so fun because I got to be on a dock and be around boats and help pretty girls into the boats and gas them up and clean them. And it was just fun being outside. I love that. Yeah. So there's an element of customer service I think you learn there too. But I'd say the job that prepared me the most for this is my career at State Farm, because I learned how to be a leader. I learned how to communicate, build relationships. And I would say the customer service piece was huge. I mean, huge. Because at some point in my career, I taught my teams and reinforced how we build customer relationships and how we take care of people and serve them. And that is what we do here. So it's been kind of fun to take that and then make it my own in my own business here within our team. So, yeah.
I love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So two things come to mind. When I was 14, my dad made me go and deliver flyers to the neighborhood telling them that I would babysit, house sit, cat sit, whatever. And so and I did, I got clients from it. So that helped me like not be afraid to like put my name out there. And coincidentally, that's how I started the real estate business, was going door to door as well. But my first like real job was working at a movie theater. And that idea of customer service and taking care of the guests so that they have this great experience, that went into my next career, which was in hotels. And that like totally took it to a whole other level of like understanding that guest experience. So it's just kind of funny how everything like worked together to lead me here. And I definitely have taken things that I've learned in all of those areas.
Yeah, so many transferable skills that we learned.
Yeah, isn't that funny
At
how
young
just like
ages.
one thing
Yeah.
just naturally
Yeah.
leads into your next
Yeah.
thing?
I love that.
And then also we found the thing that we love to do. Like, we're good at it, but we love it.
Yeah.
You know? So it doesn't feel like work all the time.
Yeah.
It makes all the difference.
Sometimes
Yeah.
it is, but
Yeah. I just listened to your guys' podcast about the farming.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I knew that. I explained to my husband, they each have their own neighborhood. Like it's so smart. Like, why isn't everybody doing this? And then
Yes.
I listened to the podcast and you put it into words and I was like, they're geniuses.
Well,
it's over.
Well, but it's what you said earlier. I mean, a lot of people know about it. She's taught so many classes about it, but putting it into practice is the thing.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people, I mean, there's this instant gratification thing in our world today. And you do the work and you expect to have results within a month or two, and that just isn't how it works. So we literally, like I joke around all the time, we should have bib overalls and straw hats. I mean, that's, we should wear farming clothes because that's what we're doing. Like when you do these events and you do these things, you're just planting seeds. And it may be a year, maybe 3 years before that particular seed turns into something.
Yeah.
But the payoff, I mean,
it's the best.
fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, well, are you ready for our rapid fire questions?
I think I'm ready.
Okay. Favorite color?
Green.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. All shades of green.
Okay,
Really?
I was gonna say, what
I actually
shade?
really love that.
Always.
Do you have a favorite drink?
Specifically Diet Coke with nugget ice in an open cup.
Okay.
I have to be drinking the nugget ice with it.
No straw?
No straw.
Oh.
Is that like pebble ice, nugget ice? I
Yes.
guess? Okay.
Yeah, like the Costco ice maker.
Okay.
Yes.
That's a good investment if you guys don't have one.
It is. Okay, favorite food?
Another very specific, my dad's waffles with peanut butter and syrup on it.
Oh,
Wow.
that's
What's so special about his waffles?
You know what? I don't know. He adds something different every time. It's like butter and vanilla. He puts so much stuff into it. It's the best.
That's how I do it.
Peanut butter and syrup. You have to.
Interesting.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have a favorite book?
The Bible.
Oh, love it.
There's also a book called From the Father's Heart that like further explains different Bible verses, and it is like Jesus speaking to you, and it has been transformative.
Cool.
That's cool.
I haven't heard of that one. What about a favorite podcast?
My OG classic is Dave Ramsey.
Oh,
Just so good.
Yeah.
Sometimes I need him to yell at me, and that's great. But George Janko, I've recently gotten into George Janko, and he seems like such a good dude.
Yeah.
He's so great.
okay. Do you have a favorite sound?
My girls' laughter. When they are playing together,
Yeah.
get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
All right. Do you have a favorite vacation?
Well, I wish I could say that I did. We only do Disney World, Disneyland.
Yeah.
Every time I try to veer out of it, my husband and I look at each other and we're like, just book the Disney vacation.
You have to do a Disney cruise then, if you like Disney.
I'm dying to know if it's
So
actually
amazing.
worth it. We love cruises.
Oh, it's 1,000,000% worth it.
Is
It's
it?
the best? If you like cruises and you like Disney, then you're done. Like, it's the best experience. It's like the Ritz-Carlton of a cruise. It's so good and so clean and so
Clean.
fun.
That's what we need.
Yes.
With toddlers.
Trust me, I am like, so anyways, I highly
sold me.
recommend. Yes,
I'm
you
gonna
have to
book
do
it.
You should.
Okay.
Okay, what do you want to be known for? What do you want people to know you for?
I didn't get this far in actually deciding how I wanted to answer this question. But I think my favorite Bible verse is Ephesians 4:15, I think, which is speak the truth in love. My communications professor in college always said that to us, speak the truth in love. And I think that's what I want to be known for, is being like genuine in my, always honest, but also always being a cheerleader to people. I feel like this whole world is filled with people that kind of want to see you fail. And I'm just like not for that. So as much as I want to be honest with people and always make sure that, I'm being true to myself and how I feel about it. I think that making people feel loved and seen and understood I think that's what I want to be known for.
Very
That's
cool.
awesome.
That's a great answer.
Thank you for being with us.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank
I
you.
hope that everybody who's listening, if they are thinking about selling, will listen to some of the tips that you shared.
Thank you.
Call us
that
and
was
then
fun.
we'll call her to come help. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be there. I will 24 hours, 48 hours, I will be at your doorstep.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Real Deal podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe, and you can follow us on social media at the Home Selling Team AZ.